Hi guys, my name's Bernie. I just want to talk to you about there is a solution, and there's a whole chapter about there is a solution in our big book, and it's an interesting topic because I don't speak for. Well, it's evident that I don't speak for God or AA as a whole. The vital spiritual experience necessary to recover from alcoholism is intensely personal to the individual alcoholic. That's precisely the point. Our first AA alcoholic stated, "Why don't you choose your own conception of God?" And that kind of melted the icy intellectual part of Bill W.'s brain. That we can choose a power greater than ourselves, but the whole program is based on us connecting to a power greater than ourselves, and there's no one way, there's no other way other than going through the 12-step program recovery, and that's the idea of the steps. They take us to the power. Also, if you have a sponsor, he's going to show you how to get to that power. And once you get to that power or to the solution, you're kind of on your own then. You kind of got it then. You've had that spiritual awakening as a result of the steps, and you've kind of connected really. Our problem is we don't have a spiritual problem in that respect. We need a spiritual solution. And I often say, and I still believe, that we're spiritually disconnected. And spirituality means you as a human being. Now, we're obviously disconnected from people, our friends, our families, nature, the outside world, if you like. Most of all, whatever this power is that's missing in us. So there is a solution, and and the program's so simple, really. And step one is where you are. Step two is how to get there, and step 3 to 12 will show you how to get there. Really, we climb those steps to get to. So step 1 is where you are. Step 2 is where you want to go, and step 3 to 12 are how to get there. And I mean, that's really simple, really. So when I came into AA, they gave me 2 options. One was to be doomed to an alcoholic death, step 1, or to live on a spiritual basis, step 2. And you think that's easy, but it's hard, really. But I had to accept the spiritual life on a spiritual basis, really. And the whole program teaches me how to reconnect, really, and to achieve a spiritual awakening as a result of the steps. And that's so important for us, that connection, really. And I often say this, if you haven't connected, our quality of recovery is not as good as it should be. We're kind of just hanging on by our fingernails, really. And it's so important that to require that language of the heart, it's a language that goes through something other than ourselves, and it comes through this higher power, basically, and it's recovery. So in chapter 5, it says, our chapter to the agnostic, before and after, make clear 3 pertinent ideas. A, we were alcoholic and could not manage our own life. That's step 1. B, that probably no human being could relieve us of our alcoholism. That's step 2. And C, God could and would if he was taught. And there's step 2 again, you see. So Bill was trying to get over to agnostics that although it's not about God as such, it's about a power greater than yourself. And I think this is how this program works. We can all agree, whether we're atheists, agnostics, heathens, Muslims, whatever religion, Buddhism, that there is something more powerful than us. And that's how this program actually works, really, is that we all agree on one thing, but there is a solution. And like I said, step 1 is the problem, step 2 is the solution, And step 3 is how to bring about that solution, whatever you decide to go through the rest of the steps with. And that's entirely up to you. So I'll just finish on this on page 25, about halfway down. It says, the great fact is just this and nothing else. We've had a great, effective spiritual experience which has revolutionized our whole attitude towards life and towards God's universe. The central fact of our lives today is the absolute certainty that our Creator has entered our hearts and lives in a way which is indeed miraculous. He has commenced to accomplish those things for us what we could not do for ourselves. So something is doing something for us that we couldn't do for ourselves. It also says that there's no middle of the road solution. What does that mean? Well, for me, and I can only speak for me, I can't speak for you guys, it's either a lot of booze or a lot of God. One of them is going to win. And I hope it's the latter. Have a nice day, guys, and keep it simple and stick close to the solution. The solution is in the 12-step program recovery. It's also in the fellowship as well, you know. And you stick those two powers together, you know, you're going to have a really good chance of recovery, you know. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. Have a nice day, guys. Bye.